All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. If you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up in the chat? Make sure my audio is coming through. Sometimes when we do these car streams, it's muted, but make sure people can hear me before I go on any further. Okay, thank you for the thumbs ups. So anyhow, I was inspired to do this video because I got a phone call yesterday, and somebody wanted to talk about something that had happened to them that's kind of, it hasn't been a good thing, but I think they had some kind of comfort or release just in sharing the story with somebody. And when they called me up, they were actually thinking about Charmed One, our great moderator. Charmed One shared with the community that she suffers from PTSD, and that's why she likes to keep private. And her story is vague, but I think we can understand that, you know, lots of negative things happen to people in this world. And, you know, out of those negative things can come all kinds of problems, including anxiety, you know, fear of other people. But anyhow, a woman called me yesterday, and for whatever reason, she felt like sharing a story about something that happened to her a few years ago. And I guess part of the reason I also want to share this, and I'll keep it completely anonymous, is just I would hope that anyone who hears this story, and might be a younger person themselves, could benefit from it. And there could be a number of ways of benefiting from it. If you're a guy, don't do what the guy did in this story, first of all. And second of all, if you're a young woman, you know, don't be naive, because I think that's also a lesson from this story. But there was a young woman, and a young gentleman met her and said, you know what, I got a friend who could use your skills. He wants to make a music video, and you've got the talents. And the woman was interested, so she asked what she needed to do. And, you know, the guy gave her the contact information. And anyhow, so she goes to meet this person to help create this music video. And when she gets there, there's just one person, the musician. And the first thing that he wanted her to do was smoke something and drink something. And to set the mood for the video was the thought. And automatically, if you're meeting strangers and the first thing they want you to do is smoke something and drink something, you should probably just say no. But, you know, sometimes you're young, you're impressionable. You know, you want the job or the revenue that's going to come with it, or the gig. Again, you know, there's reputable ways to go about things, and I mean, that's just not it, right? So sadly, predictably, where this story went is whatever she was given to smoke was more than just weed. And next thing she knew, she was passed out. And how did she wake up? She waked up to being raped. And, you know, sadly, things like this happen all the time, you know. Sadly, we live in a society where a lot of people have really bad morals, and, you know, they give women date rape, drugs, and all sorts of things. And, I mean, it's sad, it's tragic, it's pathetic, but it does happen. And it really does happen a lot. You know, date rape, something in your drink. These stories happen countless times all throughout this world, probably in your community. So again, I mean, the thing is, though, when this kind of stuff happens to you, you might feel like you're at fault, you might feel responsible, you might keep the story to yourself, and ultimately that doesn't help anything either, because then you have this thing inside you that's ugly and mean, and it'll just manifest into even more problems. So yeah, it is good to talk about things, and that's why people go out and hire therapists. But I mean, you don't even necessarily have to hire a therapist. A therapist probably has more problems than you do. They just got the degree in the office space and charge a fee for it. But if you can just find somebody that's why we all need friends in this world, right? Friends and family, people that we can talk to about stuff, and people that won't necessarily judge you, but listen and give you some good advice to help get through your problem. But yeah, I mean, it was sad to hear this story yesterday over the phone, and part of my mind, I was like, I wanted to say things like, well, why would you take drink and smoke from somebody you didn't know? But again, then that's kind of like a judgmental thing, right? And then that, the person just wanted to share the story and just get it off their chest. But yeah, again, for all the young women out there, all the high school age women about to go to college, these things especially happen in frat life. Frat guys getting women to pass out, taking advantage of them in the room. I mean, that's a story that's happening across probably every college campus every weekend, year after year. That's a story as old as the university and frat life system is. And part of the thing that the woman told me too is, she did try to go to the authorities, and the authorities kind of just shrugged their shoulders, acted like they weren't really interested in it. And I'm sure part of the thing is, because she said she was smoking something and drinking something. And that's kind of what happens in frat life as well, right? Underage drinking, inexperienced drinking. You never drank before, you never smoked anything before, you're drinking and somebody gives you something to smoke. For all you young people, you don't know that. If you've never smoked weed before, if you've never smoked weed in your life, do not smoke weed when you're drinking. If you're going to smoke weed for the first time, don't have anything else in your system. Just smoke weed. That probably won't be the worst experience unless you're super paranoid. But you drink and smoke together, that's a bad combination, especially if you have no experience. What happens to almost everybody is they get the spins. It feels like you're so dizzy, it feels like everything is spinning, and then you pass out. And then the wrong guy's in the room, next thing you know, you're getting raped. And that's what frat guys do all the time. And not to shame all frat guys too, because it's not like every frat guy's a bad guy, but there are frat guys that do that all the time. They know the knockout combo for the young freshman girl. Here's some drinks, now smoke this, and now look, you're passed out in my bedroom. So but yeah, you got something like that happened to you, you should find somebody to talk to about it. Because if you just let it manifest inside, it's not going to help. As people, we are social creatures. Of course, you got to find trustworthy people. Some people will use information against you like a weapon. But that's why it is good to, when you find somebody in your life who's a good friend, a good person, a reliable person, to keep them in your life. Good friends are hard to come by, and when you find them, you should be a good friend back, and make sure you keep those people in your life. So. But yeah, I guess that really is the extent of the thought. I think I just even wanted to share the story too, just because I feel bad for the person, and yeah, just that stuff does happen, and if just put stories like that out there can prevent it from happening to the next person, maybe you find yourself in the same situation. Wait a minute, I just heard about this. I don't know this guy. The first thing that he wants me to do is drink this and smoke this. I'm going to think twice about that. So. And yeah, it's just, like for all the people who would judge that, again, the person I'm talking about, I know they're an intelligent person. It's just, you get in certain situations, peer pressure, the influence men can have over women, all these things. So But yeah, if I do have any young ladies in the audience that follow this channel, I look at the demographic, it's mostly men, and mostly it says between people age 30 and 50. So I don't think I have a lot of young women, but if I do have any young women that watch this video, again, that scenario very well could come up in your lifetime. And don't let that story happen to you, because that's not something you want in your life experience. And even for guys, I mean, for guys, you're probably not going to get raped unless you're like in a neighborhood like Seattle's Capitol Hill, where the boys are more into boys than women. And it does happen. It does happen. Men do get raped, for the record. It does happen to men. It's just not as common. But I knew a guy in Seattle who got raped. He got taken advantage of, date rape, drug by another man. So I mean, it could happen to you as a guy too. So be careful. But yeah, it is a lot more common with women, and you know, if you're going to be doing drugs and that kind of thing, you know, make sure you know the people that are around you. Other things could happen too. I mean, you pass out in a setting around people you don't know, they could steal your stuff. You could wake up without your wallet, your watch. I remember when I was a teenager, I can't remember what brand of watch it was, but you know, I was like 16 years old, and I worked back then, and I thought, oh, I'll get myself a nice watch. And a nice watch to me back then was like $150. That thing only lasted for like a few weeks. I was at a restaurant, and I left it on the table while I went to the bathroom, because I went to the bathroom to wash my hands. I didn't want to get the like soap scum all over the watch. And when I came back, and I was out with my friends, but also people that I didn't know so well, when I came back, it was off the table, and nobody knew where the watch went. So, again, there's all kinds of sneaky people in this world, unfortunately. So, but yeah, True Seeker, you know, be careful. And if something bad does happen to you, don't just bottle it all up inside. Don't blame yourself. And, you know, find someone to talk to about it, because it usually does help release the burden or the stress or whatever you're feeling inside from whatever happens. So, and I'll tell you one more thing that's unrelated, but it was an ironic moment in life. Sweet lady was like, hey, watch this video. Sweet lady's always watching videos on her phone, and it was about this woman who has this cow, and I think it said for 15 years, every day the cow would wait on the corner where the woman would come home from on her walk back home from work, and the cow would always wait in this spot for the woman, and then just like a dog or something, right? And then there was like a clip of it, the video of the woman going to the corner several times. Now the cow would be waiting there for her, and then they go off walking together. It's just a short video, but sweet lady thought that was interesting. She's like, look at that, even cows. I said, see, that's the thing about animals. We don't give animals enough credit. But I was having this nice thought about people and animals. And then it was like 30 seconds later, I get a text message from my mom. My mom, she's been having this squirrel that's been supposedly terrorizing her house and in her walls. I don't know. I'm not down there. Sometimes I think my mom's over exaggerating things. But she texts me, and the text message pops up. She's like, I finally just caught the squirrel and I drowned it. And I was like, Jesus. I was like, come on, Mom. You could have caught the squirrel and gone and released it like somewhere else in another neighborhood. But anyway, I'd say be nice to animals too. I think that's my other thought for this stream. Be nice to animals. Don't catch them and drown them in cages. So, anyhow, that's it for now, True Seeker. Until next time.